Hi there, welcome to another closer look here on the channel, where we're continuing our look at my Doctor Who Steelbook collection for the new series. In the last video we took a look at all my Russell T Davies era Steelbooks. Today we have the Steven Moffat era. So, let's have a look. We have 7 Blu-rays to get through. Let's not waste any time, let's get into it. Okay, so first up we have Series 5. This, of course, is the first series with Steven Moffat as the showrunner, and also the first to feature Matt Smith as the 11th Doctor, and Karen Gillan as Amy Pond. This is also my favourite series of modern Doctor Who. I just love this series, I love every single episode, even the ones that a lot of other people seem to hate. I also love this Steelbook design. This is probably my favourite of the Steelbooks as well. This artwork is done by Sophie Cowdery once again. She did the Series 4 Steelbook. And I love this kind of Van Gogh-inspired background with the Doctor and Amy on the front here. I think it's just a really lovely, lovely design. But let's have a look at it inside, shall we? We take the little card thing off here. There's the back of that. And you've got your little slip which tells you all the different bits that are on the Steelbook, that are on the Blu-ray. But we'll get a better look at that artwork, and look at that. Look at that, that's such a lovely little picture of the Doctor and Amy there. That's wonderful artwork, again, Vincent van Gogh inspired, again by Sophie Cowdery. Amazing. This is not the only Sophie Cowdery Steelbook art we'll be seeing in this video. There's a lot more. Here's the spine, if you can see that. If it will focus. Come on, focus. Anyway, you get the idea. It says Doctor Who Series 5. And on the back here we have some other characters from the series. So of course we've got Silurian, we've got Rory, we've got some Daleks, we've got Amelia Pond, we've got River, we've got a Weeping Angel, and in the back there, if you can see that, we've got the Pandorica, which is awesome. The Pandorica I thought was a really good series arc, actually, the Pandorica. If we open it up here, we've got 4 discs. Let's take a look at them. So I'm going to go through what's on each disc. So, on disc 1 we have The 11th Hour, The Beast Below, Victory of the Daleks, and Time of the Angels. Bonus features, you have Meanwhile in the TARDIS, Monster File on the Daleks, Monster File on the Weeping Angels, Video Diary, those are done by both Matt Smith and Karen Gillan, they each do one, which is cool. Audio commentaries on The 11th Hour, Victory of the Daleks, and Time of the Angels. And we have this lovely disc art with Amy and Rory on it there. I will say one thing I really like about the Steven Moffat era kind of overall is all the little mini episodes that we got. I mentioned there you have the Meanwhile in the TARDIS segments, and yeah, you got like sort of Meanwhile in the TARDIS and Night and the Doctor, things like PS and Pond Life and various other prequels, mini episodes for the 50th anniversary. You know, celebrations. You just got a lot of mini episodes, a lot of extra content for either YouTube or for either the YouTube page or the Blu-ray releases, and I think that's really, really cool. I kind of wish they still did that, but, you know, whatever. I like that they added a bunch of extra stuff for, you know, kind of the home media release. That's really, really cool to me. And it was, you know, actual mini episodes written by Moffat with Matt Smith and Karen Gillan, you know, performing them. It was all live action. They didn't it wasn't like it was audio or, you know, photo reconstructions. No, it was extra bonus scenes. I just like that. I thought that was a nice touch that they did. 11th Hour, I think, is a tremendous debut. Really, really great story. The Beast Below I really liked. I know it's not a lot of people's cup of tea, but I've always really liked it. I think it's quite good. Victory of the Daleks is probably one of the weaker stories on this series, but I still get a kick out of it. It's still fun. I like it certainly more than the other Dalek stories from the Steven Moffat era. And Time of the Angels and Flesh and Stone is a really, really strong Weeping Angels two-parter. Again, I know a lot of people aren't really keen on that one, but I've always really enjoyed it. I just think it's a really, really fun story. I'm a sucker for the Weeping Angels anyway. And yeah, I like that story. Anyway, here's disc 2 with Winston Churchill. On this you get Flesh and Stone, Vampires of Venice, Amy's Choice, The Hungry Earth and Cold Blood. You also get Meanwhile in the TARDIS segments again. Monster File on the Silurians, Part 2 of the Video Diaries, and audio commentaries on Vampires of Venice and Cold Blood. We got Vampires in Venice, which again is probably one of the weaker ones, but it is at least fun. I think it's quite fun. And Amy's Choice, which is a brilliant episode, one of the best of this series, actually. If it wasn't for another episode that we'll see in a minute, that would probably be my favourite one. And then you've got The Hungry Earth and Cold Blood, which I think is one of Chris Chibnall's best stories, certainly awesome little Silurian two-parter. Some of Chris Chibnall's best work on the show by far. And on disc 3, if I can get it out, come on. Okay, disc 3, we've got, there he is, old Vincent van Gogh on the front there. Because, yep, this is the disc with Vincent and the Doctor, which is, I think, is easily the best episode of this series. Again, I love all of Series 5, but Vincent and the Doctor, that's just such a good episode. You got The Lodger, which I'm not the biggest fan of James Corden, but I like him in this episode. I think he's quite good in this. They utilise him well, and he's really good with Matt Smith. Him and Matt Smith is kind of a double act, are quite good. And then you've got the two-parter, The Pandorica Opens and The Big Bang. Excellent series finale. I think it's a really good story. I really enjoy that one a lot. You can tell I like this series, can't you? Oh, and on disc 3 you also get Monster File on the Alliance, outtakes, Video Diary Part 3, and an audio commentary on The Big Bang. And then disc 4, if I can get it out, come on. Disc 4, which just features the Doctor and River there. This has your confidential cut down, your Doctor Who confidential cut downs, and the trailers. Excellent. And here on the inside we've got some really nice artwork here. You've got Amy Pond that side, and the 11th Doctor that side. I really like Amy Pond and the 11th Doctor. I think they're a fantastic duo. I actually think the kind of TARDIS team of Amy and Rory with the 11th Doctor, and sometimes with River Song, is a great sort of TARDIS team, a great sort of unit. Yeah, and I think all of the actors are really good. I like Matt Smith and Karen Gillan. I think they're both great actors. They have great chemistry with each other, and also with Arthur Darvill and Alex Kingston, who will of course be in the next series a lot more as well. And yeah, just no complaints. I love Series 5. I think it's really good. It's my favourite, as I mentioned, it's my favourite series of modern Doctor Who. Okay, so next up we have Series 6. Now this is one of the more underrated series of Doctor Who, I think. I have kind of mixed feelings on it myself. I'm not the biggest fan of the series arc, with the sort of the story arc with, you know, the stuff with the Impossible Astronaut and River Song and that, but I think a lot of the standalone stories are really excellent in this. And here's the back of the J card. Once again, we've got artwork from Sophie Cowdery, and let's have a better look at that because it's awesome. There's your little slip with the stuff on the back. But yeah, once again, brilliant artwork from Sophie Cowdery. We've got this nice green sort of background with the four main characters. Of course, this series you have more of Rory and more of River Song, so they get to share the cover with the Doctor and Amy, which is great. There's Series 6, and there's some of the supporting characters and, you know, villains and stuff like that. I love the Silence, by the way. The Silence are a great monster. Stephen Moffat was really good at creating monsters, I think. You know, we had the Empty Child and the Weeping Angels and the Vashta Narada, and the Silence. He's just really good at making monsters. Also, I love the little kind of Silence motif around the artwork here. That's really cool. Again, great job from Sophie Cowdery, I think. What's not so great is the fact that this one has stacked discs. Yeah. So on disc 1 you get A Christmas Carol. A Christmas Carol gets a disc all to itself, which is awesome. I love A Christmas Carol. It's probably my favourite of the straight Christmas specials. Not necessarily my favourite of the specials, but it's my favourite Christmas special, certainly. On bonus features you get Doctor Who Confidential. I think that might actually be the full episode rather than the cut down versions. And you also get the Comic Relief 2-part sketch Space and Time, which is a really cool little mini episode, which I really like. And then disc 2, you have The Impossible Astronaut, Day of the Moon, and the Curse of the Black Spot. Impossible Astronaut and Day of the Moon, I think, is a wonderful opening. Like I say, I'm not the biggest fan of the kind of story arc with the Impossible Astronaut overall, but I think the opener really is great. That's probably the best part of the, you know, story arc of this series, is kind of the thing that sets it all up, that two-parter, great two-parter. And Curse of the Black Spot, it's one of these ones where, yeah, it's not great, but I kind of have a bit of fun with it. I think it's kind of funny. I get a bit of a kick out of it. I'm a sucker for pirates, so yeah, I kind of dig it. Anyway, on this one you get on bonus features for this disc, you get audio commentary on The Impossible Astronaut, Monster File on The Silence, prequels for The Impossible Astronaut and Curse of the Black Spot. Again, more of the mini episodes. I'm going to keep talking about the mini episodes because I love them. And then on disc 3, you get The Doctor's Wife, which I think is one of the best episodes of the entire series. The Rebel Flesh and the Almost People. Pretty good two-parter, actually. I really like Rebel Flesh and the Almost People. There's a ganger on the front there, which is cool. And, of course, The Doctor's Wife is great. It's Neil Gaiman writing Doctor Who, so, of course, it's incredible. Bonus features on this, you get audio commentaries on The Doctor's Wife and the Rebel Flesh, Monster File on the Gangers, and Night and the Doctor, 4 additional scenes. So that's kind of the series of mini episodes for Series 6. Of course, Series 5, it was Meanwhile in the TARDIS. For this, it's Night and the Doctor. There are 5 of them overall. The first 4 are on this disc. So then we have disc 4, which features A Good Man Goes to War, a really good sort of mid-series kind of finale, a really big, strong episode. Great twist in that one as well. You got Let's Kill Hitler, which I think is one of the worst episodes of this series. I just really not a fan of that one. Same thing with Night Terrors. Not a big fan of that one either. I mean, Night Terrors is fine, but it's not one I would rewatch very often. And then you've got The Girl Who Waited, which is probably one of my favourite episodes of Series 6. It might be my favourite. See, this is the thing. I think this is a weaker series than Series 5 overall, but it does have 3 episodes that I would consider to be among my favourites of modern era Who. Girl Who Waited's one of them. The Doctor's Wife is one of them. And we'll get to the other one in a moment. But first we'll go through the bonus features on disc 4. You've got audio commentary on A Good Man Goes to War, Monster File on the Antibodies, and prequels for A Good Man Goes to War and Let's Kill Hitler. Much as I don't like Let's Kill Hitler, that prequel scene is great. Disc 5, you've got the third of the 3 episodes I consider to be some of the best of modern Who. You got The God Complex. I love The God Complex. It's so, so good. Sadly, the Closing Time and The Wedding of River Song don't quite live up to the highs of this series. I think Wedding of River Song is a really bad series finale, actually. But, you know, Closing Time, bits of it are fine. It's alright. Wedding of River Song, again, bits of it are fine, but it's not a great story. Again, I think it's probably one of the weakest series finales. But then you've also got The God Complex, which is a great, great story. And a cool Cyberman on the front of this disc here. So yeah, at least there's that. Bonus features, you get an audio commentary on The Wedding of River Song, Monster File on the Cybermats, a prequel to The Wedding of River Song, trailers, and you get the final Night and the Doctor scene. And then on disc 6, we have this cool picture of the Doctor, looking awesome. And you've got the Doctor Who Confidential cutdowns, and a special Doctor Who Confidential, A Knight's Tale, which is awesome. And then if we look inside here, there's not really much artwork on this side, but it's all over here with the Doctor, Amy and Rory in the helmet of the reflected in the helmet of the Impossible Astronaut. Sorry, let's just have a bit of a better look at that artwork, if I can get the lighting to not mess it up. Yeah. And next up we have Series 7, Matt Smith's final full series as the Doctor. A lot of people really don't like this one, and yeah, I think it is the weakest of Matt Smith's series. But I actually kind of like a lot of the episodes in this. I rewatched this series recently, and it was a lot better than I remembered it being. This is actually quite an underrated series, I think. Again, artwork by Sophie Cowdery on this one, which is great. She once again does a wonderful job. I just really like Sophie Cowdery's art. She's just really good. Anyway, there's the little card thing with the, with the bonus features and disc content on it. Let's have a better look at the artwork. Here it is. So you might have noticed that this is the Doctor, Amy and Rory again, but there's no Clara or anything from Series 7B. Well, that's because this side is Series 7A, and on the back, you've got Series 7B and a slightly different colour scheme. That's awesome, isn't it? I love that. You got Clara, and also I like that they've put the Doctor on here again because he's got a new coat for Series 7B. So there's his, classic look with the tweed jacket, and then he's got his cool purple coat on the back here. Really awesome. Let's have a look at some of the monsters. I've only just noticed the thing from the snowman here. That's cool. Yeah, awesome. And the front there as well. So let's go through these episodes. Once again, we have stacked discs, which isn't great, but never mind. So you've got discs 1 and 2, so Series 7A on this side. So disc 1, you have Rory on the front here. And contents, you've got The Doctor, the Widow and the Wardrobe, the 2011 Christmas special. Probably one of my least favourite Christmas specials. Not a big fan of that one. Asylum of the Daleks, which I hate Asylum of the Daleks. I may end up doing a full video on Asylum of the Daleks one of these days, because I really, really dislike that episode immensely, but not today, we're staying positive. And we got Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, which is kind of fun, you know, it's a bit goofy, but it's fun overall, I enjoy it. It's weirdly my favourite episode of the 3 on this disc, so yeah, there we are. Make of that what you will. Special features, you've got prequels and behind the scenes. Then on disc number 2, you've got Amy Pond, which, you know, it makes sense that Rory and Amy are on these 2 discs. This is, you know, their half of the series, I guess, or their 5 episodes. This one you have A Town Called Mercy, The Power of 3, and The Angels Take Manhattan. Town Called Mercy, I think, is really, really good. I think it's a really underrated episode. A lot of people kind of write it off, but I think it's a really, really good, solid episode. Yeah, really like that one. Really like Town Called Mercy. Power of 3 has some good ideas behind it, but I think the execution doesn't really work. And Angels Take Manhattan, I think, is a really fun story with a really emotional payoff to, you know, Amy and Rory's departure. So I think the episode mostly is fun, and then Amy and Rory leave, and that's, you know, emotional, and yeah. Bonus features-wise, on disc 2, you've got Pond Life, Comic Con, The Making of the Gunslinger, and Behind the Scenes. One thing that is odd is that Pond Life is on this disc, despite the fact that Pond Life is a prequel to Asylum of the Daleks, which is on this disc. So if you want to watch everything in order, you've got to put this disc in, watch Pond Life, then put this disc in, watch that disc, and then put this disc back in. So that's a bit weird. Why wouldn't you... I don't know why they didn't put Pond Life on the disc that Asylum of the Daleks is on, but never mind. It is what it is. Yeah, some good bonus features there. And again, you've got like stuff like Pond Life and a bunch of prequels and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. Okay, so next you've got disc number 3, which has The Snowmen, a pretty good Christmas special. I like that one. I actually really like the version of Clara that we get in The Snowmen. I kind of wish that was the main version of Clara. We got The Bells of St. John and Rings of Akatan. Bells of St. John, I think, is a pretty weak episode. I'm not a big fan of that one. Rings of Akatan I liked, though. I thought that was a really good one. Bonus features, you get The Snowman commentary, Clara's White Christmas, prequels, Children in Need special, The Great Detective, Doctor Who in the US, and Behind the Scenes. Disc number 4, you get Cold War, Hyde, and Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS. Hyde, I think, is a really, really strong episode. I really like that one. Cold War is fine. Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS, I really don't like that one. That's another one that I really, really dislike. Yeah. But, yeah, I don't like that one. But the other 2 episodes are good to great. Special features, you get a Cold War commentary, Hyde commentary, script to scene, Good as Gold, The Science of Doctor Who, and Behind the Scenes. And then finally you've got disc 5 here, which contains The Crimson Horror, an episode that I think is kind of underrated. I like that one. I know some people really hate that one, but I like it. Nightmare in Silver, it's got its moments. It's not as good as Neil Gaiman's other episode, not by a long shot, but it's got some alright moments. I don't like those kids in this sort of second half of Series 7. I think they're really annoying characters, and they're in Nightmare in Silver a lot. So yeah, not a fan of them. And yeah, Nightmare in Silver could have been better, but it was alright. And The Name of the Doctor, which is a really good setup episode for the 50th anniversary special, but I don't think it's a particularly good series finale. So I think if you look at it as a series finale, it doesn't work, but if you watch it as kind of the first of a 3-part, as the kind of the first of the 3-part 50th anniversary special, kind of Name of the Doctor, Day of the Doctor, and Time of the Doctor, then it works a lot better. And that twist at the end with John Hurt is just great. That reveal at the end is just great. Special features on this, you get a commentary on The Crimson Horror, Clarence and the Whispermen, The Companions, Infoarium, Clara and the TARDIS, Rain Gods, She Said, He Said, and Behind the Scenes. So more mini-episodes, which, again, love the mini-episodes. Then on the inside, continuing the theme of, you know, dedicating one side to Series 7A and the other to Series 7B, you've got the Doctor and Clara this side, and the Doctor and Amy this side. Much as I dislike Asylum of the Daleks, I have to say that artwork is awesome. Love that. I actually have a poster of that artwork, despite it being from one of my least favourite episodes of the entire series. And then finally, for the Matt Smith era, we have the 50th anniversary specials. And just look at this cover. This one I think is done by Lee Binding. Yes, it is. So this one is the return of Lee Binding to do this wonderful artwork here. Look at this. You got the Daleks in the background. You got the 11th Doctor, 10th Doctor, Clara, Rose, and the War Doctor up at the top there. That's great. Let's have a better look at the artwork. So there's the back of the J-card, by the way. And your little sheet to tell you what's on each disc. But yeah, just look at this artwork. Lee Binding has outdone himself with this. I mean, this is just wonderful, wonderful art. On the spine there, we've got that. That actually focused for a second there on the spine. My God, that would probably be a first for this video. Anyway, there's the back, and look at that artwork. Again, that's just wonderful stuff. So if we have a look inside, now because there's only 4 sort of specials, I guess, each one has its own disc dedicated to it. There's Matt Smith. Has its own disc. So let's have a look. So on disc 1, we've got The Name of the Doctor. Once again, the Series 7 finale. And again, I maintain it works better as a setup episode for the 50th anniversary than it does a Series 7 finale, but whatever. Behind the scenes, you get special features. You get behind the scenes, The Name of the Doctor, The Night of the Doctor, which is the awesome mini episode with the 8th Doctor, which is cool, and Doctor Who: The Ultimate Guide, which is a really good documentary, actually. I really like that. Disc 2, you have The Day of the Doctor. I love this artwork with the 11th and 10th Doctor's kind of silhouettes. That's really cool and dramatic, isn't it? Day of the Doctor, you got Behind the Lens, The Day of the Doctor, Script to Screen, 50th read-through, The Last Day, Tales from the TARDIS, Cinema Intros, The Doctor and Strax, 50th Trails, which is the 50-year trailer, and the early trailer. I think Day of the Doctor is a phenomenal episode. I think it's one of the best specials Doctor Who's ever done. It's just got that kind of big, epic feel to it that I think a good Doctor Who special should have. I'm hoping the 60th anniversary specials have a similarly kind of epic feel to them. I have no doubt that they will. It's Russell T Davies. He knows what he's doing. But yeah, Day of the Doctor, love that one. One that I also love, that I think a lot of people kind of are a bit mixed on, but that I've always really liked, if I can get it out of the thing, is the Time of the Doctor, which of course is Matt Smith's regeneration episode. First off, I love his regeneration scene, but the episode around it is pretty fun as well, I think. I think it really works as a big kind of last hurrah for the 11th Doctor, and a really good Christmas special. Bonus features on this, you get Behind the Lens, The Time of the Doctor, A Night with the Stars, The Science of Doctor Who, Deleted Scene, and Farewell to Matt Smith. That Farewell to Matt Smith, man, that's an emotional feature. I'm sure you've already guessed that on the other side of the artwork is the 10th Doctor there, so 11 and 10. And of course, disc number 4 has An Adventure in Space and Time, the excellent sort of docudrama written by Mark Gatiss, which of course had David Bradley playing William Hartnell and doing it so well that he then ended up playing the first Doctor in the modern series. That is amazing. I love that that's a thing that happened. But yeah, so Adventure in Space and Time, I love this. I watched this like a lot. I rewatched this quite a few times, at least once a year. Anyway, bonus features on this, you get William Hartnell, the original, The Making of an Adventure, reconstructions, scenes from An Unearthly Child, the pilot, Regeneration, deleted scenes, the radiophonic workshop and Verity's leaving party, Farewell to Susan, festive greeting, title sequences, Doctor Who at the Proms 2013, and the Five-ish Doctors reboot, which is awesome. If you've never seen the Five-ish Doctors reboot, you need to track it down and watch it, because it is spectacular. Colin Baker is especially funny on it. Like, Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy, I think, are just sort of a perfect double act, a perfect little duo in that little mini episode. I really, really love Five-ish Doctors reboot. I can't say enough good things about it. But yeah, the 50th anniversary specials, I think these were phenomenal. I think it really kind of, it showed how much the people making Doctor Who really cared about celebrating its 50th year. And again, I'm hoping for something similarly epic and awesome this year for the 60th anniversary specials. Also, how was this 10 years ago? My God. And now we get to the 12th Doctor's era with Series 8. Now, I have to say, Series 8, not one of my favourite series. In fact, it's probably my least favourite series of modern Doctor Who. That is not Peter Capaldi's fault. Peter Capaldi is excellent throughout it, I will say that, but just the writing and the stories in this one I'm not the biggest fan of. I know some people love it, and that's great. I mean, again, I love Capaldi, and I love Missy as well. I think she's really fun. But, yeah, it's not one of my favourites. But let's have a look at the artwork again, because we have Sophie Cowdery back for this one. There's the back of the sleeve. I forgot to show you that. But yeah, like I say, we have Sophie Cowdery back for the artwork here, and while I don't really like this series, I do love this Steelbook. First off, this artwork. First off, I love purple. Purple is a great colour, so I love that we've got a purple background here with the kind of chalkboard writing all around it. That's great. Peter Capaldi's looking awesome on the front here. I love that we've got Missy. It's a nice change to have kind of a villain on the front rather than a companion. I guess Missy's not really a villain in this series. Well, she kind of is in this series. She kind of evolved to being more than that in the later 2 series, but that was a great twist, man. I loved Missy in this. And on the back here, you got Clara, you got Danny, and you got some other supporting characters. But let's have a look inside, shall we? So once again, you've got stacked discs, which again, not the biggest fan of, but it's fine. It is what it is, isn't it? So, disc 1, you have Deep Breath, Into the Dalek, and Robot of Sherwood. Now, Deep Breath, I think is fine. It's not one of my favourite episodes, but I rewatch it every now and then. Into the Dalek, I really don't like. I like the idea of Into the Dalek, but I think the execution's really bad. Not a big fan of that one overall. And Robot of Sherwood, I get a kick out of it. I'm a sucker for Robin Hood. And yeah, it's a pretty fun little story. So, like Robot of Sherwood. Bonus features on this, you get a commentary on Into the Dalek and Robot of Sherwood. So that's pretty good. And then disc number 2, you have Listen. Again, an episode that I like the idea of, but wasn't a big fan of the execution of that one. Not the greatest. Time Heist, which is alright. The Caretaker, I really hated The Caretaker. Couldn't stand that episode personally. And you have, speaking of episodes I can't stand, you've got Kill the Moon, which, yeah, the less said about Kill the Moon, the better, I think. Some of these episodes I will have to do full reviews on to kind of give you my full-on thoughts on these, but not today. Bonus features on this one, you get commentaries on The Caretaker and Kill the Moon. So at least the 2 worst episodes on that disc have commentaries on them, I suppose. Or the 2 weakest episodes, I guess, on that disc. So, disc number 3, you've got 2 of the best episodes. Mummy on the Orient Express, which I think is the absolute highlight of this series. I love that story so much. And you've got Flatline, which is also pretty damn good. I really like that one as well. You've got In the Forest of the Night, which is not great. I'm not a big fan of this series, but again, Mummy on the Orient Express and Flatline, I think they're probably my 2 favourite episodes of this series. So, nice that they're both on the same disc, and nice that they're next to each other as well. And you also have a bonus feature, Doctor Who The Ultimate Time Lord, which is really good, actually. That's a really good bonus feature. Disc 4, you have Darkwater Death in Heaven. One of my least favourite series finales, to be honest. Yeah, not a big fan of that one, sadly. It had some good moments. I love the twist with Missy, but yeah, overall not a great 2-parter for me. Bonus features on this, you get Doctor Who The Ultimate Companion, Inside the New TARDIS, Fox's Don't Stop Me Now music video, Doctor Who exclusives, casting Peter Capaldi, writing the new series, What is Doctor Who, and Why Watch Series 8. And on disc 5, you get some bonus features. So you get 12 behind the scenes, which are basically just, instead of having Doctor Who Confidential, you get a Deep Breath Q&A, which is pretty cool. Doctor Who Earth Conquest World Tour, and 4 trailers. So yeah, not a great series, but, you know, it has some moments. I don't think there's any series of Doctor Who that's completely bad. They all have at least a couple of good episodes, but yeah, not one of my favourite ones. But I love this artwork underneath here. You got the Doctor and Clara here, which is a really cool. I like the internal art in this one, certainly. Next up we have Series 9 and the really hard to find Steelbook now. Yeah, I was really happy when I pre-ordered this because, yeah, this went out of out of print very, very quickly. It was an Amazon exclusive, for one, and it went out of print very, very quickly. And yeah, now it fetches ridiculous prices on eBay, so I'm quite glad I pre-ordered it, to say the least. Especially because it has this really, really great picture of the Doctor on the front. We'll have a better look at the artwork in a second, but first, here's the J card. And rather than getting a little kind of flap, a little sheet of paper that runs down what's in it, you get this instead, which is Series 9 Facts, which is cool. It's a little booklet full of bits of trivia about Series 9, which is pretty good. Series 9 overall, again, it's not one of my favourites of Doctor Who, but I like it a lot more than Series 8, certainly, and I love this Steelbook art. Now, these next two, I don't actually think it tells you who this and Series 10. It doesn't actually tell you on the back who did the artwork. I think it might be Alice X Zhang, but I'm not entirely certain on that, so apologies if it isn't. If someone knows who it is, do let me know in the comments, and I'll, make a correction or whatever. But here's Peter Capaldi on the front here, looking really, really cool. And on the back, we have a nice portrait of Clara as well, which is nice. Let's open this up. Once again, we have the stacked discs. Let's have a look this side. So we've got... So disc 1 has Last Christmas, which, is alright as a Christmas special. Not one of my favourites, but not one of the worst either. You got the Magician's Apprentice, the first part of the two-part opener. I really don't like Magician's Apprentice and Witches Familiar. I was really worried about this series when it opened with that. You've also got some bonus features. We'll go through the bonus features in this in a moment. Disc 2, you got the other half of Witches Familiar. Again, not a big fan of that one. But then you also have Under the Lake and Before the Flood, which I think is a really excellent two-parter. The Fisher King was awesome. Really underrated monster, I have to say. Really love that story. Then on disc 3, you've got another one that I think is pretty underrated. It's not great, but I enjoy it. You got The Girl Who Died, The Woman Who Lived, and you got the first part of the Zygon two-parter, the Zygon Invasion, is that one? Yeah, Zygon Invasion. So then on disc number 4, you have the Zygon Inversion, the second part. I like that one overall. I'm a sucker for the Zygons, so yeah. Sleep No More, which is an episode I really don't like at all. Really, really not a fan of Sleep No More, unfortunately. And you've got Face the Raven, which was pretty damn good. I liked Face the Raven. I thought it was all right. Disc number 5, you have Heaven Sent, which is... Oh, disc's upside down. Disc number 5, you have Heaven Sent, which is one of the absolute best episodes of modern Doctor Who. A real masterpiece, a great story. Peter Capaldi giving some of his best work as an actor. Stephen Moffat doing some of his best work as a writer, and Rachel Talalay doing some of her best work as a director. And then they went and ruined it with Hellbent, which... Yeah, as a series finale, I'm not a big fan of... I'm not a big fan of this era because it's Stephen Moffat is kind of his worst. I think when Stephen Moffat's good, he's really, really good, but when he's bad, it's rough. So yeah, Heaven Sent, I adore. I think it's wonderful. For me, Heaven Sent is where Series 9 ends. But yeah, Hellbent, again, it's got some okay moments. And I do think it is a bit overhated, but it's not good. That's the thing. I don't think it's good either, so I don't know. What I do think is good, though, is The Husbands of River Song, which is on this disc. Yeah, love that one. Excellent Christmas special. If we have a look at the artwork inside here, we've got the Doctor and Clara running away from an explosion, which is awesome. Now, as mentioned, with this one, it doesn't actually tell you what bonus features are on what disc, but you do have a rundown of the bonus features on here. So... You've got Prologue, The Doctor's Meditation, Commentaries, Complete 2016 San Diego Comic-Con Panel, 9 Doctor Who extras, again they're like Doctor Who Confidentials but not, Deleted Scenes, Will Wheaton interview with Peter and Jenna, Writing Who, Dalek Devolution, Fan Show Finest, Clara's Journey, The Adventures of River Song, Sublime Online and Trailers. So yeah, pretty good, pretty good. And then finally, to wrap everything up, we have Series 10. And again, we have lovely artwork here on the front of Capaldi. I think this is probably the same artist who did the Series 9 artwork because it's a very similar theme. But we get some art cards with this one as well, so let's have a look at those. Oh, 2018 calendars and diaries. I can't wait to get some of those for the past. Anyway, we've got some art cards. Let's have a look at the art cards. Okay, so these are lenticular art cards. You've got the Doctor with his eyes shut, and then he opens them. That's really cool. Nothing on the back. You've got Missy, who very slowly turns into the Master, the John Sim version. That's a great one. And then you have the most depressing one of all. You've got Bill, and she turns into a Cyberman. That was a tragic ending for that character. Bill was a great companion, man, and that was such a tragic ending for her. So yeah, there we have the artwork once again, and again we got the Doctor looking really, really cool. I love the background here as well. That's really nice. There's the spine. And on the back, we've got Bill in a similar thing. Again, I really love Bill. The 12th Doctor, Bill and Nardole, I think are a really underrated TARDIS team. I kind of wish we got more than one series with Bill, but I understand why they got rid of her, because, you know, Moffat was leaving. Chibnall probably wanted to give Chibnall, you know, a clean slate so he could just start again with what his version of Doctor Who was. Yeah. Now, the one thing I will say that I dislike about this particular set, and this is something that carries on through the releases for the Jodie Whittaker era, is that all the discs have the same artwork on them. Literally all of the discs have exactly the same artwork. Same with these three, which is a shame. All the same. Yep. And the other thing that annoys me about these ones is it doesn't even tell you how many episodes are on each disc or what's on each disc. It just says disc 1 to 5. But what is nice is the artwork underneath here. You've got the Doctor and Bill here, and you've got the Doctor and Bill here in 2 different colour schemes. So that's pretty fun, isn't it? But yeah, a bit of a shame that you don't have any extra artwork, any alternative artwork on the discs or anything like that. But, you know, it is what it is. I still think this is Peter Capaldi's absolute best series, though. I think this is a wonderful, wonderful series. Let's go through the episodes, shall we? Return of Dr. Mysterio. I think that's a great little Christmas special. Really fun. The pilot is great. Smile, not a big fan of that one, but it's okay. Thin Ice is a fantastic episode. I really, really love that one. Knock Knock, it's alright. It's fine. It's not my favourite, but I do think it is a bit underrated. You got Oxygen, which I think is terrific. One of my favourites of this series. You got Extremis, The Pyramid at the End of the World, and The Lie of the Land, aka the Monk Trilogy. The Monk Trilogy, I think, started off really, really strong with the first 2 parts, and then the last episode, kind of, it all fell apart a bit, in my opinion. But then you had The Empress of Mars, which is pretty underrated. Eaters of Light, which is really, really underrated. I love The Eaters of Light. And finally, you've got World Enough and Time and The Doctor Falls, which I think, personally, should have been Peter Capaldi's final episode. I think that should have been his regeneration episode. Like, if you take the end scene off of the regeneration scene off of Twice Upon a Time, and you stick it on the end of World Enough and Time with the Doctor Falls, I think you'd have just a perfect, you know, final episode for the Doctor. But, you know, they wanted to keep the Christmas special slot open in case Chris Chibnall wanted to use it, so they made Twice Upon a Time, an episode I have mixed feelings on, but it's alright, isn't it? Again, it's got a really good regeneration scene. But yeah, World Enough Time with the Doctor Falls, one of the best episodes, some of Rachel Talalay's best work as director as well, and really made the Cybermen scary again. Special features on this, you have Doctor Who Extra, The Return of Dr. Mysterio, The Doctor, A New Kind of Hero, Knock Knock Binaural Sound, Becoming the Champion, Out of This World, Smile, Who's There, Ronan Monroe, A Modern Classic. Oh yeah, Ronan Monroe wrote for this. That's awesome, yeah. Wrote Eaters of Light for this one, and Survival for the classic series. 2 absolute great stories. Anyway, Ronan Monroe, A Modern Classic, The Finale Falls, Inside Looks, Deleted Scenes, Audio Commentaries, Doctor Who The Fan Show After Shows, and Doctor Who The Final Countdown. So yeah, a really stacked Blu-ray set at least. And there we go, that is the Steven Moffat era. All wrapped up quite nicely. I think it starts really well, I think it ends really well. Well, it starts really well, it ends really well. couple of series in the middle that aren't really my favourites but have their moments, and some great specials. One thing I will say is all of these Steelbooks are absolutely gorgeous. Again, you've got some of Sophie Cowdery's best work, Lee Binding making his return. Again, not sure who did the artwork for these two, but they're lovely nevertheless. Yeah, I really like these sets. Matt Smith's era and sort of parts of Peter Capaldi's era are among my favourite eras of Modern Who. So yeah, let me know what you think of these series. Which is your favourite? Which is your least favourite? Same thing with the Steelbooks. Do you like this era? Do you not like this era? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments if you feel like it. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you when I see you.